What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. Hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. Hope everyone has had a great week so far. Hope you guys have all had a fantastic Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 fantasy football mock draft. Tonight we are hopping into a full PPR 12-team mock for the 2023 fantasy football season. Excited as ever to be here with you guys. You know what to do. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe while you tune in so you can add another guy to your algorithm who talks about fantasy football, and just maybe I will help you win so many fantasy matchups this year. Whether you guys are new to the channel or not, hit that like button on the way in so more people see tonight's stream and we can all hang out and have fun talking fantasy football. Speaking of which, most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any fantasy football topics, redraft, dynasty, or best ball you want to go over, any NFL topics, get in the live chat. Get it going. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. All right. I'm going to send out the final warning on Discord. Mock is starting, and then we are starting this bad boy. All right, it's 10:15. You guys were warned. Sleeper noises. Mock is underway. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send it on Sleeper as well. But I think just about everyone's here. Okay, so hope you guys are doing great. It's been like 2 nights since I've been on, so missed you guys, man. We got a couple things to go over. You know, Alvin Kamara being the first thing we'll start with, right? Saints running back Alvin Kamara pleads no contest to misdemeanor charge for his alleged role in a Las Vegas fight. Okay, sorry, I'm on the clock here. Give me Bijan. The felony charge has been dropped. Kamara is still subject to a possible suspension by the NFL, which has punished several players in the past, even when they weren't convicted or charges were dropped. So, yeah, I mean, I think at this point we can pretty much expect a suspension for Alvin Kamara. You know, going from a felony to misdemeanor is, you know, good for Kamara's sake. They settled out of court. I think he had to pay $100,000 in court for medical bills overall. So I'm sure whatever they settled on outside of court was probably a good amount of money. And I mean, like, honestly, I mean, it should have been, right? So, yeah, not a great situation. When we're looking at this from a pure fantasy perspective, though, I think about 6 games, 4 to 6 games is probably what we're going to get. Whatever Kamara, you know, gets slapped with, he's probably going to try and appeal. I don't think that he'll be successful, but now the question becomes the timeline, right? You know, think back to a couple seasons ago when Ezekiel Elliott had his stuff come up, and we all knew that Zeke was going to be suspended that year, but we didn't know quite when. And Zeke fell back in drafts pretty drastically, like the 4th or 5th round, when he really should have been, you know, if the suspension wasn't there, he would have been a first rounder. I drafted Ezekiel Elliott that year because it was just still up in limbo by August, you know, into August. And if you did draft him, you got kind of put in a weird situation, right? Let me make this selection very quickly here. I was hoping Waddle would fall, but I'll take Olave. That's fine. Because you knew the suspension was coming, but then as the weeks kept going, the suspension didn't come, right? So you kind of looked smart the first half of the year because you had Zeke, and then the suspension came towards the end of the year, like as you were making a playoff push. So I could see that kind of scenario unraveling with Kamara. I could also see, you know, suspension, you know, being determined before the season starts, which, like, honestly, from a fantasy perspective, that's what we want. Like, we want to know when the suspension is. We want to know how to base his value within drafts off of that suspension. But who knows what we're going to get, right? I I mean, obviously the NFL has known about this situation for some time. Like, most people thought Kamara would face suspension last year, and that never happened, right? This took a while. So I think the best thing to do with the Alvin Kamara situation is to continue to be cautious, to be patient, and just let whatever's going to happen. And we'll try and make a calculated decision when we can, because there's not much we can really do right now, unfortunately. So we've got the Kamara thing. It is what it is, right? It's not the most convenient thing from a fantasy perspective. But I do think when we're looking at Jamal Williams and Kendre Miller, they do take, I would say, a little bit of a hit right now, because Kamara, in my opinion, is probably going to play most of the season. Okay? But on the flip side, those guys are going to get more opportunities when Kamara is suspended. So, and who knows? Maybe this could be a larger suspension than I think. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. How long do you think Alvin Kamara will be suspended? 4 games, 6 games, 8 games? And we'll go from there. So, there's your update. I know you guys all heard about that yesterday, but I didn't stream yesterday. So, there's my update. All right. Saquon Barkley, week 1 in jeopardy. If no long-term deal is agreed on. Okay, the Giants offered Saquon Barkley $13 million per year. Barkley wants $16 million per year. So, in my opinion, with the whole Saquon Barkley, we already knew this was going on, but deadlines are getting closer, training camps getting closer, et cetera, et cetera. Reports are starting to come out, right? So, when we're looking at this, I think Saquon Barkley is probably just saying what he's supposed to say right now in terms of trying to acquire that contract. And I'm not as worried about Saquon not being out there week 1 as I am like Josh Jacobs, for example. I think Josh Jacobs, when you look at the statements he has made, he looks like he's more likely to hold out. When you look at the statements and the reports coming out around Barkley, it looks like he is doing what players do when they want a larger contract, right? So, yeah, I think Barkley could miss some of training camp, but I think it'll get figured out before week 1. I just had that feeling, I do also think when you look at things, the Kenny Golladay situation, I know it's kind of weird to bring up, but after this year, the Giants should have more available cap space, if I'm not mistaken, because the dead cap space from Kenny Golladay will be gone. So I could also see a situation like where maybe they try to just keep him on the short contract, franchise tag, I should say, and then next year when they have more money, they're able to extend him. But at that point, I don't know. Like, when you look at the landscape of the running back position, the contracts running backs are getting right now, I just don't know what NFL teams want to do. I really don't. So we'll see how that unfolds. Some reports have been looming about that. That's kind of the hot topic right now. But like I said, I really think Saquon and the Giants are going to get this figured out before week 1. But I do think we might continue to see a little bit of a standoff between the two sides. Like I said, I won't be surprised if Barkley misses some, training camp, whatever. I think he'll be out there. I'm more worried about Josh Jacobs in terms of a holdout that actually goes into the season. So, all right, outside of that, we have some offseason hype. Lions GM Brad Holmes believes Jahmyr Gibbs' special weapon like Marshall Faulk or Christian Kirk, which I think is great. But we kind of hear that statement about a new rookie running back every year. So, I mean, yes, I like Jahmyr Gibbs as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to get crazy about that. I think the sky is the limit. He can be one of the best wide receivers in the league, quote unquote, from Patrick Mahomes, speaking on Kadarius Toney. I mean, listen. Yes, it's Mahomes saying it, but, we don't want to get too overhyped about Kadarius Toney, right? I mean, we've been there, done that. Okay, I was going to draft Christian Kirk, so now I'm sad. But I'll go Hollywood here. That's fine. All right, so Colts owner Jim Irsay tells Pat McAfee show Jonathan Taylor's healed up. We didn't really talk about, Javonte Williams expecting to be ready to start the season. I guess we did a little bit. Okay, anyways, we don't really have anything else to go over in terms of news. That was a long news introduction. So we're already in the 5th round. We are drafting fast tonight. Let's go. This is interesting looking at my build versus Jay Fitness's build. We have like the same exact type of draft going on so far. Which team do you guys like more? C-Mac, Higgins, Mahomes, London, Kirk, Bijan, Olave, Hurts, Moore, and Brown. I feel like these two teams are like pretty even, honestly. Alrighty. Cats, what's going on, man? Spencer, hello. Taylor says Saquon and the Giants have a deal in place, supposedly. Okay. See what happens with that. Thomas, what's going on, man? Hello. Andrea, what's going on? Cat says Kamara is definitely getting suspended 4 to 6 games at the least. Taylor says Derrick Henry's fantasy playoff schedule is unreal. It usually is, just with the division he plays in, right? But yeah, we need to start taking a look at some of the schedules a little bit closer. But also you want to be careful with that because defenses can change so drastically year to year. Defenses that we thought were going to be bad this coming season can end up being much better, can be much better against the run or against opposing wide receivers. Look at the Seahawks last year, for example. Even look at the Jaguars at times, the Jets. There were defenses last year that played much, much better than we were anticipating. Even the Eagles to some degree. So, I'm going to be careful with it. But it is something good to look at for sure. Andrew, what's going on? Not drafting Kamara. Suspended, or going to be suspended 4 games. Jay Fitness also thinking 4 games. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Thomas, I think Kendra Miller's value definitely moves down if Kamara moves up. Good value for Miller. Oh. So Taylor says, I saw they have a deal for $14 million in place. Should be done before Monday. Yeah, we'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. See if it happens or not. Elver, what's going on, man? Good to see you. What's up? Looking forward to the season for the content. Appreciate that. Looking forward to having you as part of the community this year. Andrew's word on Jacobs. I agree. Let's see here. Thomas, saw Houston Texans giving Tank Dell praise the last few days. Excited for that dynasty-wise, 100%. Kyler saying he'll be ready by week 1. Yeah, I mean, the potential, attitude towards Kyler Murray within the fantasy community, we have talked about Kyler Murray quite a bit through the offseason. You guys know in those early, sorry, just punched my desk. When we were first drafting Underdog drafts when they opened for the year, I was left and right drafting Kyler Murray as a QB3 or QB2 on a lot of my best ball teams because he just wasn't getting drafted or was just going to the very end of the draft. So I'm he's probably still going to play this year and was a top 6 fantasy quarterback before he got hurt last year. So, I do think that as the months continue to go on and we probably hear more positivity coming out of Kyler's situation, I do think he's probably going to be, drafted a little bit more aggressively. I think right now it makes sense if he's kind of in that range of you draft him as a QB2, draft him behind a really good quarterback. I mean, okay, we talked about this during the last stream, right? You can literally pair Kyler with any kind of quarterback right now, and it just makes sense. If you draft a quarterback early, then there's no risk. If you throw Kyler in at the end, if you draft someone in the middle, it's smart. If you draft someone at the end, he's a smart QB too as well. So I think that could change, but I think it might stay that way for a couple more weeks. We'll see. Cinnabon says, I like my team more than both your teams. Fair enough. Cat says, everyone coming off injury says they'll be back by week 1. Doesn't happen. Dobbins last year. Godwin last year. Those are good points. Good points. You never know. All right, Hunter. I'm trading away Debo and A.J. Dillon, receiving Cooks and Monty. Should I do it PPR, not Dynasty? No, I wouldn't do it personally. No. I mean, like, yeah, Debo had a down year last year, but we can't start comparing him to the value of a player like Brandon Cooks. Like, Debo's still a 4th rounder. Now, Monty over A.J. Dillon, I think that's fine. But even when we look at, like, tonight's draft, right? Monty at the 7.6, Dillon at the 7.10, like, you're barely swapping value. I do think Monty's going to have a better year, but I just don't think that trade does anything for your team in terms of putting you over the top or giving you enough trade value to where it's worth doing. I don't think Cooks is going to have good enough of a year to really, validate that trade. So I'd rather have Debo and A.J. Dillon. Like I said, overall, I'd rather have Monty than A.J. Dillon, but it's close enough that it does not nearly outweigh, Cooks over Debo. I personally would not do that trade. No. No. All right, who in the world am I going to draft right here? Go Zay Flowers. I like this team tonight. I do. Just wish I got Kirk. I mean, I like Hollywood. I'd rather have Kirk. That's my guy. But it's okay. It's okay, J Fitness. All right, just traded for TP and Dynasty for D-Hop, Connor, and a 2025 third. Win or loss? Okay. Why can't I think of who TP is? I'm like staring at the board. Who is TP? Let me know who TP is. Why am I having a hard time with this one? And why was the first player I thought of Tom Brady? Oh, Tony Pollard. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Context matters here. It's a pretty steep price. I mean, I like Tony Pollard, but like, in most dynasty leagues, like the 2025 third, whatever, D-Hop, like, if you're not a contender, I mean, I guess it makes some sense. If you are, like, I'd probably still value D-Hop because in most dynasty leagues, the wide receiver position just holds so much value. So, I mean, I would have tried to at least get one more piece out of this equation. Whether it's a late round draft pick or just a wide receiver of like a Romeo Dobbs type value, just someone back. But context matters. It's hard to break down dynasty trades without really seeing like an entire team. So and then knowing the scoring format and all that good stuff. So it just kind of depends. And like I said, it depends. Are you a contender? And all that good stuff as well. I don't know who to draft here. It's a weird spot. I mean, I'm probably just going to go tight end. I was hoping Freiermuth would fall out. I mean, I'll take Ingram. That's fine, but all right, that works. Thomas says, where are we getting these Saquon Barkley contract specifics from? Because I don't know. Giants' best offer reportedly $19.5 million. I don't know. I just take anything you guys are seeing with a grain of salt. Just kind of see how it plays out. All right, access to keeper PPR league. Who would you keep out of these three? Brown, Connor, Pittman. Brown and definitely Brown if it's out of those three. It depends. Access where you drafted Connor and Pittman. You know, frankly, right now their ADP isn't really hurting you. You know, you could probably draft like Connor went at 7.7 tonight. So like, where did Pittman go? Pittman went at 4.12, so you probably keep Pittman and Brown because you can probably draft Connor. And I would imagine where you drafted him last year is not as equivalent to like a 7th rounder this year. So I'd probably keep the 2 wide receivers there. I do like both of them this year. I want to make sure I read that trade right. So did you trade Tony Pollard for D-Hop Connor in a 2025 third, or did you receive Tony Pollard? And like I said, it just depends on your team, scoring format, what position your team's in, etc., etc. All right, I'll go McKinnon here. I like this team so far tonight. Got to try and tack on some wide receivers at the end here. Other than that, I feel okay. Went early quarterback tonight. How you guys like that? I was hoping I actually get Mahomes at 3.6, but obviously that did not happen. But I felt like Hurts was pretty good value there. Kind of went hero running back. Fine with the wide receivers we ended up with. Yeah. Taylor brings up an interesting point. What do we think about D-Hop's odds going in minus 300 for Tennessee? I mean, yeah, like usually Vegas like knows something ahead of time, I guess. I guess. I don't know. I just wouldn't overreact to it, but it could mean something. I mean, it could mean that maybe they know he offered the Titans offered him the best contract. I don't know. It could mean a couple different things. Ultimately, I would really hate to see DeAndre Hopkins play for the Titans because there's just like nothing exciting about that to me. I mean, but right now, like when we're looking at the teams that D-Hop might land with, like what? We got the Titans, the Patriots as the top contenders. Like we know those guys have offered him a contract. Like, I mean, I would just much rather see like the Bills, the Chiefs, like just a team that is actually exciting, are contending. Like at this point, the Ravens. I mean, at this point, like even like the Saints, like a team that can at least win their division, the Jets. Just an entertaining team. Like send them to the Chargers. Go to the Lions. I mean, the Lions need a wide receiver. Like, come on. Can't we just get D-Hop on a fun team? You know, just go to the Ravens, whatever. Who cares about cap room anymore? Go back to the Browns. Now, they have like 7 receivers, but who cares? You know, just the Titans or Patriots. Like, ugh. mean, I get it. You know, D Hop's a fantastic wide receiver at the end of his career. Hope he gets his bag. You know, he's got like a couple bags, but you know what I mean. Like at the same time, like can't we just make this fun for fantasy football and like from an NFL perspective? You know, I don't want to watch D Hop. Like it basically just be like what we saw the Cardinals last year if he goes to Titans. You know, like we're just like have meddling quarterbacks rotating. You know, I mean, I love. I mean, Kyler's great, but like was hurt different points last year, and you know, at the end of the season, it's just like, who's even throwing to D Hop anymore? You know, or getting Mac Jones? I don't know, man. Where do you guys? Let me know in the chat at this point in the season. Where do you think that D Hop ends up? I hope it's somewhere that is not boring, but I guess we'll find out. Cat says the QB value is insane in this draft. Tight end too. Yeah, definitely a very heavy wide receiver running back draft tonight. I like my team though. Feel good about this squad. Andrea says D-Hop in Kansas City. Taylor says, to be fair, D-Hop has always produced a pretty bad quarterback play. That is true. That is true. You know, he had Watson at a point. Like I said, Kyler at a point. But that's definitely true. And let's not disrespect Colt McCoy, right? But you know what I mean? Like, D-Hop at the end of his career, don't you just want to see him with, like, a solidified, like, stud quarterback? You know what I mean? But you're definitely right about that, man. All right, where do I want to go with this next pick? I think, I don't know. I'm going to have to see who goes off the board here. Yeah, there goes Shaheed. So I'll take Dulcich here. I'll go with two tight ends. With Ingram's situation, I guess, slightly up in the air. And I think Dulcich is a steal right now in the 12th. I know a lot of you guys like him, and at some point, he's probably not going to be as easily draftable. But yeah, I mean, Rashid Shaheed, we talked about this last stream. Like, I love in our community that Rashid Shaheed just has no actual ADP. You don't know if he's going to go at the end of the 9th, beginning of the 10th, or in the very last round of the draft. Like, he's a hard player to kind of calculate right now, but I know a lot of you guys like him. You guys know that I'm a big fan of him as well. All right, so this final pick, I mean, I just want to go wide receiver. And it's not going to be Rashid Shaheed. So, I mean, this whole tier of wide receivers, like, it keeps coming up for me. Rashee Rice, Zay Jones, Jalen Hyatt, KJ Osborne, Jaden Reed, DPJ, Alec Pierce, Jefferson, Mechie, Randall Robinson, Hunter Renfrow. Like, you know, you can even go down a little bit, like Josh Downs, Isaiah Hodgins, Paris Campbell, Tank Dell. Like, who do you draft here? Like, you're just taking an educated guess. Dart throw. You know, just go for upside here. Zay Jones, Jalen Hyatt. I like both those guys. But I do like DPJ because I feel like he's going to have a solidified role within that offense, even with Elijah Moore there and, Tillman there. I think DPJ is going to still get his target. So 13th round won't hurt you. You know, any of these guys you can drop, right? Okie doke, ladies and gentlemen, let me know if you want a team review. All right, I'm trying to take a look at this report on Saquon that Thomas posted. Oh. Yeah, I did forget about this because they already offered him. That's right. I mean, they already did offer him this contract. Okay. $13 million annually, included $26 million over the first 2 years. So, but he wants more than that. So, only two other backs currently average more than $14 million per year. Alvin Kamara, kind of ironically, and Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, I think it makes sense. I think they're going to come to an agreement, though. I think they'll figure it out. But yeah, I forgot it. I mean, yeah, they did offer him that contract. But that was like a month ago, I guess. All right, thanks for posting that, Thomas. All right. Cinnabons up first. 2 a time. Geno Smith, late round quarterback build. You get both those guys. I'm not complaining whatsoever. Goddard, great value in the 6th. Take them all day long. You're good at quarterback and tight end. Gibbs, Sanders, Javonte, Roshan Johnson. Redraft-wise, be perfectly happy with this running back room. Especially if Javonte's good to go, which he is saying he is. Tyreek Hill, Devonta Smith, Brandon Ayuk, very nice. Juju in the 8th, full PPR. That's fine. Low ceiling, but it's fine. Mooney's a great value in the 10th. Myers is perfectly fine in the 12th. Yeah, this is a good draft for you, man. It's a good team tonight. Starting Tua and Dallas, Goodert, Gibbs and Sanders, Hill and Smith, flexing Ayuk. Then in your second flex, you're in a good spot, right? Javonte, Juju, Mooney, Myers, Roshan down the stretch. You get a quarterback behind Tua with his injury concerns, whatnot. It's a good overall build. Good work tonight, man. Not much to say. Good team. Spence, what's up, dude? What are you up to, man? Been quiet tonight. You okay, Spence? All right, Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Mandrews at tight end. You good here? By all accounts. Hall, that's your guy. I like Breece Hall too. Robinson, Foreman, Mostert, Chase Brown. Kind of a hero running back build. But you got enough value here to rotate that RB2. Obviously, it's not the best, but just rotate that RB2 throughout the year. Waivers, trades can make that happen. Jamar Chase, Christian Watson, Scary Terry, Mike Williams, J-Mo, the other Jay Williams from the Lions, although Jamal Williams is now a Saint, and Romeo Doubs. Pretty good wide receiver value throughout the draft. 2 Packers, imagine that. So you're starting Telon, Andrews, Hall, and Brian Robinson, who I do think is a good value where you got him. And I do think that even Foreman, Mostert, and Chase Brown could be actually really solid for majority of the year for you as well. Maybe not crazy high ceilings, but good value for sure. Starting Chase and Watson, flexing McLaurin, and Mike Williams. Yeah, pretty good team. I mean, that leaves J-Mo, Foreman, Mostert, Dobbs, and Brown on the bench. I can live with this team, man. Core roster looks good for both you and Senior Cinnabon, and the bench both look good for you guys as potential flex options. So, yeah, good start, guys. LeBron's brain is in the house. What's up, dude? What are you up to, man? Long time no see. Hope you're doing great. You doing okay, man? Always good to see you, man. J Fitness. My homies. Say no more. And Conquo and Schultz. You're fine there. Good late round tight end build. C-Mac, Akers, A-Chain, Jerome Ford. I can live with that. You know, you just might want to keep in mind A-Chain's going to be kind of like boom or bust, I think, as much as I like him. Jerome Ford is still a handcuff. So if anything happens to C-Mac or Akers early, you could just be kind of in a position where, you know, RB2 could be up in the air. Higgins, London, Kirk, Tony, Johnston, Sutton, a very good wide receiver room. So you're starting Mahomes and either tight end, C-Mac and Akers, Higgins, London, flexing Kirk. Then in your second flex, I mean Tony, Johnston, Sutton, or A-Chain. Yeah, good squad. You know, it's just going to depend on if those running backs can stay healthy, and then what kind of output do you get out of Nkonkwo and Schultz. As much as I like both of them, they are on, you know, offenses that aren't the best. But overall, looks pretty good. Mahomes, C-Mac, Akers, Higgins, London, Kirk, and then like Tony Johnston or Sutton. Pretty good core roster. Conquo and Schultz, yeah. I'm okay with it, man. Taylor at the 1.4 tonight. Danny Dimes. Captain, you like that? Kirk Cousins, late round quarterback build. I can live with it. Cole Kmet at tight end. You know, I like my boy Cole. Whenever he's available. Henry, Stevenson, Jones, Pirine, Singletary. Good running backs tonight, man. Kupp, Hopkins, Deontay, JSN, Elijah Moore. Good wide receivers. Good drafting tonight, guys. Every team so far. different builds, different strats here, but everyone's looking pretty solid. All right, so we're starting Danny Dimes and Cole Kmet. You know, it is interesting to me. Like, we had this whole, like, Cole Kmet hype last offseason. And this year, like, we know the Bears are going to be better. We know what Justin Fields is going to bring to the table. We know that the offense is going to be more improved. We're just not hearing a lot about Cole Kmet, who was very solid last year. You're tight end 7 in full PPR. You know, yeah, had some inconsistencies, but, like, every tight end outside of, like, Kelsey and maybe Hawkinson, like, Andrews had inconsistencies even. Kittle had inconsistencies. Like, it just happens. It's just part of the nature of the position. So, I don't know. It's just interesting to me that no one's really talking about Cole Kmet. All right, so we're going to be starting Henry and Stevenson, Kupp and D-Hop. You're probably flexing Aaron Jones and flexing Deontay. So JSN, Moore, Pirine, Singletary on the bench. Yeah. Good drafting tonight, guys. All right, Andrea at the 1.1. Prescott at QB, Freiermuth at tight end. We're good here. Jacobs, Pollard, Dobbins, Swift, Chuba. Very nice running back room. Even with the Jacobs potential situation, like, this is a good running back room to have around Jacobs, I think. JJ, Pittman, Burks, Mingo, Collins, Gallup. Like, yeah, you take a little bit of hit at wide receiver, but you're led by JJ, and Pittman's a good value. So, you know, I prefer to have the wide receiver value outweigh the running back value, but I still think this team is fine. So you're starting Prescott and Freiermuth, Jacobs and Pollard, JJ and Pittman. You're probably flexing Dobbins and Swift. You know, like, you probably want all those guys out there. Burks, Mingo, Collins, Gallup, and even Chuba to a degree can filter into the flex spots. So, but yeah, I do think that this is a team where you're going to end up flexing running backs over wide receivers. So, interesting build tonight, but I like it. Could be a really solid team. Cats. What's up, Catthew Stafford? Lamar, Kittle. Those guys are good. You know, I still kind of recommend, just with Kittle's injury history, maybe drafting a late-round tight end behind him, even if it's Jawan Johnson or Tyler Higbee, who are the last two players off the board tonight. But at the same time, I mean, you can figure that out through the waivers if you want. Even with Lamar, like, yes, he's going to throw more this year, probably run less. Todd Monken, et cetera, new wide receivers. You guys get it. But I don't know, guys. Like, I got burnt by Lamar in 2021. Yeah. And then some of you guys got burnt last year. I didn't draft him last year because I got burnt 2021 at the end of the year. And same thing kind of happened last year. I don't think it's going to happen this year. But I don't know. If we're going to make the argument for Kittle, maybe we make it for Lamar. Like, maybe just throw Anthony Richardson, Geno, someone behind Lamar. I don't know. But honestly, you're fine here, Cats. ETN, Mixon, Dillon, Kamara, Bigsby. I mean, good running back value throughout the draft. Diggs, St. Brown, Davis, Lazard, Chark, Jefferson. I can take that. So we're starting Lamar and Kittle, ETN, and Mixon. Mixon's such a question mark right now, but you're probably starting him, right? Diggs and St. Brown. You know, the two flex spots are up in the air here. Dillon, Kamara, Davis, Lazard, Chark, Bigsby, Jefferson. Like, I mean, any of these guys can filter in here. Like, my educated guess would be Dillon and Lazard, but, like, who knows what's going to happen with Kamara. Davis and Chark could be options. Jefferson could be an option as well. Bigsby, as the year goes on, could be an option. So, and he's a good handcuff behind ETN. So, yeah. Good little squad there, man. All right. Box and the Jack. What are we up to tonight, man? Burrow, quarterback, T-Hawk at tight end. Harris, Pacheco, Gibson, Damian Harris. I can take that. I like that running back room. Lamb, Adams, Evans, Beckham, Moore, Shaheed, Jaden Reed. So I like this team. Starting Burrow and Hawk, Harris and Pacheco, Lamb and Adams. Once again, in your flex here, Evans, Gibson, Harris, Shaheed, Beckham, Moore, even Reed. Any of these guys could end up being flex options. My educated guess start the year is probably Evans and Gibson, but any of those guys could filter in, which is what I like to see. You know, once we get past those primary starters, When we're looking at our 2 flex positions, we want those 2 flexes to be as strong as possible, but we also want the remainder of our team to essentially potentially be flex options. So, team looks good to me. Good drafting tonight, guys. JW, Fields, Pitts, and Jawan. I like that. Madison, Cook, Charbs, Miller, Warren. It's kind of been your build lately. Brown, Wilson, Ridley, Debo, Bateman. Yeah, I can live with this. A lot of handcuffs there towards the end. But we're starting Fields and Pitts. Madison and Cook. Brown, Wilson, flexing Ridley, flexing Debo. I mean, come on. Bateman, Charbs, Miller, Warren, Johnson on the bench. Like, I personally rather have some of these handcuffs be guys who get immediate value, which Charbs and Miller might. But, I mean, I like Bateman in the 9th. And I think having a second tight end behind Pitts is fine. So, overall, a good team. Your starting core roster is very, very good, for sure. I mean, Debo is like your second flex. It's like, come on. Good squad. Don, what's up, bro? Good to see you. What's up, dude? Cats, anyone see the news that Falcons reached out to Niners about Lance? Yeah. I don't know if I call it news. Like, the guy who reported it is like, I don't know, very, very sketchy. So, you just got to be careful this time of year, especially when we're getting reports from Twitter. You know, like, it's up in the air. If it's true, they probably would have done it before or during the draft and gotten it done. And, like, honestly, from what we've seen out of Trey Lance, is he any better, any different outside of his draft capital than Desmond Ridder? I don't quite know. We'll see. All right, let's see. Trying to get caught up with the chat here. Team of the night, I already decided, is a tie. It's a tie. Cinnabon, Taymone. But we went over some really good teams. I really like Jay Fitness's squad. I like Spencer's team. There's some good teams out here tonight, guys. Everyone, seriously, I mean, you guys just heard all the reviews. I thought everyone did really well. But those first 2 teams we hit, I think are my top 2 teams, Cinnabon and Taylor. All right, let's see. Don, hope you're doing well, man. All right, I'm just trying to get caught up with the chat. Oh, I skipped you, boss man. Sorry. My bad. Alrighty, one more team. Josh Allen. He's good. Kelsey, he's good. I like Kincaid on this team a lot. You know, I've been pretty vocal, like, rookie tight ends you want to be careful with, even with all the hype. And Kincaid has a lot of hype. Definitely the best rookie tight end coming out of this class, don't get me wrong. But I like him on this build a lot because obviously you have Josh Allen for a potential stack, and you have the safest tight end in all of fantasy football, arguably one of the safest players in all of fantasy football, and Travis Kelce. So this is just like the perfect team for Kincaid. All right, Chubb, Cook, Jamal, Herbert, kind of hero running back here. I'm okay with it if Chubb's your guy there. I mean, Chubb was RB6 last year, and wasn't for kind of this, if you want to call this a drop-off, compared to the rest of the year, kind of was. If it wasn't for that, he probably would have finished higher. So, Cook, Jamal, Herbert. I mean, you're going to be rotating that RB2 spot. That's fine. Cook could end up really being a good pick there, potentially. Allen, Godwin, Lockett, Cooks, Boyd, Osborne. Yeah. I mean, it seems fine. Nothing really like jumps off crazy on paper here. Early quarterback, early tight end. So you lose a little bit of value at running back and wide receiver. But, like, just think about, I mean, it's always interesting to me, like, Allen, Godwin, Lockett, Cooks, Boyd. Like, you could have drafted all those guys on the same team, like, a year ago or 2 years ago by any measure. But obviously that's just how it works. But all these guys could end up being really good values. So, I mean, you'd be starting Allen and Kelsey, Chubb and Cook, Keenan Allen, Godwin, flexing Tyler Lockett, flexing Cooks, Jamal, Herbert, Boyd, Osborne and Kincaid could all sneak in there. So yeah, solid team. I do feel like it's missing just like that one sprinkle or two of like a young upside type player. Like maybe Cook does that for running back potentially. But like maybe, I don't know, it's hard looking at the board though. You may have made the right calls. Because like if you go Dotson over Godwin, like yeah, that gives you upside, but Godwin brings that nice consistency, but you kind of get that from Allen. Like I don't know, maybe go Drake London or DJ Moore over Allen and then Godwin, but I don't know. It's a ground team, but maybe it's just missing that little sprinkle of like potential upside. Maybe get that out of Kincaid, right? Kincaid and Cook, maybe those are your guys. So solid team, man. All right, let's see. Started my LLC a few months back, says Don, just grinding. Nice, man. Hope it goes well. Football in my earbuds all day. Let's go. All right, let's the rest of my team. Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Ingram and Dulcich at tight end. Oh, I like both my. I mean, obviously my quarterback room's fine, but I like that tight end room too. I don't know why I'm having more builds where I draft a second tight end, but that's been a thing lately for me. I don't know why. Bijan, Rashad White, Monty McKinnon. I like redraft. I would be really happy with this running back room. I mean, I just don't know by the time we get to August if Rashad White and or Monty are going to be available at this value. I think both those guys are going to continue to creep up. Chris Olave, DJ Moore, Hollywood, Zay Flowers, Sky Moore, DPJ. I like that wide receiver room just based on the entire draft. I would have preferred Waddle over Olave. Moore, I'm fine with. If Moore wasn't there, I'd be fine with Drake London or even Brandon Ayuk or Christian Watson. I would have preferred Christian Kirk over Hollywood, but I'm still okay with him. Zay Flowers, I liked in the 8th. Quentin Johnson was there, but I kind of lean. I don't know. I go with this rookie wide receiver class. Like, yeah, I think Addison, first rookie wide receiver off the board tonight. I think that's fine. I think that makes sense. Flowers and Johnston, I go. Oh, I'm sorry. JSN is also in the mix, of course, but outside of JSN and Addison, like Flowers and Quentin Johnston primarily are the two guys I kind of flip-flop between, and I went Flowers tonight. I'm okay with that. I love Sky Moore in the 11th. We wanted Shaheed, didn't get him. Like I said, DPJ in the 13th is fine. So I like this team tonight, actually. I'd be starting Hurts and Ingram, Bijan and White, Olave and DJ Moore, flexing Hollywood. Then that second flex, Monty, Flowers, McKinnon, Sky Moore, DPJ, even Dulcich, any of those guys can creep in. So I like this trade. I like this team tonight. Yeah, Cinnabon, I was bummed we didn't get the auction draft going last night. I'll have to try and figure out a time that I will actually have time to put one together on stream. We did a couple last year, though. If you knew Hurts would be there in the 3rd, would you have taken Devonta over Olave? To be honest, I was very close to taking Devonta over Olave. Whether or not I knew Hurts would be available there. But I still think, as much as I really liked Devonta Smith, and I loved him last year, begged people to draft him last year, Olave is still going to be in a position where he's the wide receiver 1. With the way the Eagles' offense works, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Devonta still gets kind of treated like a wide receiver 1, or at least gets enough volume that we could look at him in such way, But yeah, I think that's what ultimately made the decision for me to go Olave there. I probably have Olave and Smith over Higgins, but Higgins still very, very close right there. And it's no discredit or knock on Higgins whatsoever. But Yeah, in one quarterback redraft formats, like stacks are nice, but I don't think they're necessary. You know, so I don't know for sure, but I think for me, I was looking for my first wide receiver off the board. I want them to be in a position where they are the primary target on their team. Although, like I said, with Eagles, I don't know if it really matters, but it's a good question. Let's see here. J-Dub says, I like Olave over Waddle. Waddle's very efficient, though. Yeah, I mean, Waddle's, just speaking of what I was talking about, like, I'm looking for a wide receiver one, and Waddle is similar to Devonta Smith, where he's wide receiver 2 on his team, respectively, but it just doesn't matter, I mean, Waddle's your wide receiver 8 in PPR last year, Olave's your wide receiver 25, Higgins your wide receiver 18, Smith your wide receiver 9, so... I do think there's something to be said about Waddle and Devonta Smith maybe going over Olave there. So it's close calls. Close calls. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I guess that kind of wraps it up for the night. We went over everyone's teams. We got through the mock. I guess that's all I've got for you guys. Great stream tonight. Good to see a lot of you guys coming back out. I know we're getting closer to August. And I can't wait, man. We're getting closer and closer to the NFL season, closer and closer to the fantasy football season. And, yeah, definitely good to see some old names in the chat tonight. Taylor, I have Waddle and Olave a tier higher than Smith and Higgins. I think Waddle and Olave are right on Amon-Ra St. Brown's heels. I think I can agree with that. But I personally just really like Devonta Smith, and I always have really liked Devonta Smith. So... it could be just a personal conviction thing as well. I think he's as close for me. I think he's in that same tier as Olave and Waddle for me, close to St. Brown. I think Higgins is slightly outside it. Thomas, I only have time for this one mock. I gotta be up early tomorrow. Unfortunately. Ridley, Debo, or ETN? I mean... it just depends on if you are drafting running back or wide receiver there. It's hard to put Ridley in there. It depends on the rest of your draft as well, because we're looking at running back versus wide receiver here. You know what I mean? I'm probably not drafting Ridley because I will take Kirk at a cheaper price, and I'm not really targeting Debo because I'll get Ayuk at a steeper price, but gosh, you guys are really joining in on my trend of pushing Ayuk's ADP up. So it might be ETN for me. But I've only done so many builds where I'm really going running back in the third, so I don't know. It's close. It depends on the team you've built. J-Dubs, it's close. All right, guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out, of course. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. Smash the like. Do the YouTube stuff. Check out the links down below. If you guys are new to the channel, of course, Instagram, follow us. Discord, join us. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. If you guys want to get future mock draft invites, make sure you guys are on Discord. It's free. Roster reviews, NFL news, fantasy discussion, community discussion, all that good stuff, man. And I don't know if I said this, subscribe to my channel. It'll change your life. Yeah, join us. That's right, son of Don, it was good to see you tonight, broski. Boxing the Jack, J-Dubs, Thomas, J Fitness, Andrea, that boy OD, Boss Man, Cats, Hunter. LeBron's brain was in here tonight. Throwback. Everyone else who hung out, everyone else who stopped by, thank you guys for being here tonight. I can feel it. The fantasy season is coming, ladies and gentlemen. I'm as excited as ever. All right, guys. Love you guys, man. Loves community. Love the catch, fam. That'll wrap it up for the night. I should be back on tomorrow for another mock. So just stay posted, guys. By the way, the poll tonight. 95% of you said yes, Saquon will play week 1. 5% said no. In case anyone was curious. Pretty heavily favored poll in one side, excuse me. So, all right, guys. With that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch. And